Go to like podcaster mode. Go. Go.
Okay, cool. So it's so awkward right now. I will.
No, it's not. It's not. That's what we are supposed to do. We designers need to be shameless, okay? Let's get started.
Hey guys, welcome to J Design Studio. I'm Jayashree, and in today's video, I am sharing an interview that I did with Karthik Krishnan, who's a very, very talented UI UX designer, and he also has a great community for Tamil designers called ODPP Community, or Design Panni Paru Community. I recently did a podcast with him where we talked about entrepreneurship, design, and everything in between, and this podcast is called Ellam Design. Even though his podcast channel and his community is basically for Tamil designers, he graciously agreed to do this interview in English so that my community, my audience can also benefit from what we are talking about in this. All links to his podcast and his community is linked in the description below. And without further ado, let's get started.
Welcome to Ellam Design podcast. Welcome Jayashree. This is the first podcast I have invited a guest in my podcast. I would like to ask you some questions about your entrepreneurship journey and also your design journey. Where did you start? I hope this podcast will have a lot of insights about designers who wanted to start agency or designers who wanted to run a proper business. So I think we should be talking more about design mindset and also the entrepreneurship mindset. I have some plenty of questions for you to answer about it.
Very excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
It's my pleasure. Let's start with your design journey. Like, where did you start? When did you start? And how was your 9 to 5 job? And how was your transition from 9 to 5 job to this business, entrepreneurship business kind of thing? So
yeah, let's never do double quotes on entrepreneur, because that makes it look like we are doing just like make believe stuff. It's not. It's a real thing. Okay. Anyway, back to your question. My journey started long back, Karthik. Like, my interest in design was in 6th standard when I saw this girl really drawing like a beautiful dress, and I asked her, "What is it?" And she told me that, oh, this is called fashion illustration. And I was like, oh, I was very curious. And from there, I started digging up about what is fashion illustration. And I was so obsessed with it. I applied in NIFT and such, did not get through. And then I pivoted to graphic design. Now, graphic design was not something I understood in detail when I joined my college. But once I did, I was fully obsessed with it, and I did not realize that that's something that I've been doing all my life, like to understand logos better, to understand placement better, to understand like how a banner is supposed to be created and everything. I just dug deep into it and I got there. So I was an imaging associate in Amazon as my first job, and it basically involved me working on Photoshop and editing images. This job was a very happy job for me because I really enjoyed it. It was like big corporate job which gave me free coffee, and I could just roam around all day if I needed. I did not have to sit in one place and work. I was very happy with this work. But it was a contract job, just 3 months. Then I joined a different job, which was of an in-house designer in a designer bag brand called High Design. If you have heard of it, that's where I worked. And I worked there for a year. And that's where I learned graphic designing truly. In that job, once my manager said, Jashri, you're a terrible designer, but you're a great executive. I think your future is in execution. And I got offended. I was so mad at him. I was like, how dare he call me a bad designer? Do you know how long I have been a designer? How dare he call me that? I was in job for like 2 years. I should not have that much pride. But he did call me that, and I still don't. I still did not forget about it. I did not understand what he meant by executive as well. So we'll get to that, okay? Fast forward, I was in a very good design related work in Amazon, and I worked with big brands like Nestle, Ferrari, Formula One. I had been designing for these big brands in my 4-year tenure with Amazon. And in the 4th year, I had to take a break from work because I was going to have my daughter. But in the 2nd year itself, I had somehow decided that I eventually want to start my own business. The reason for that was to get a better freedom over my time. I did not like asking for leave from my boss. Let's say that's the reason I started my business. Eventually, it took me 2 years to plan to perfection as to what I had to do. I had extended my maternity leave up to 10 months. I got 6 months. Somehow, I utilized my annual leaves and all other leaves that I had, my medical leaves and such. I extended to 10 months. And in that 10 months, first 2-3 months after I had recovered from my postpartum, I had started working on my business. So I started posting content without thinking whether it's on brand or not. I started posting about what branding is supposed to be. I even made portfolio pieces and I started posting them on my website. And lo and behold, I started noticing that I'm getting clients. At this point, clientele was not for money. At this point, I just needed clients, someone who can give me a positive review on how my work has turned out with them. That was the only concern that I had with my business at this point. After this, slowly the clientele started picking up, but I had to get back to work. After the 10th month, when the day one I had come back, I had texted my manager. I was like, hey, by the way, what is the portal that I have to go to resign from this job? And he was like, Jayashree, it's just day one you came back. I was like, I had planned this. 10th month after my maternity break, I told them, hey, I'm quitting. And the day one of returning from my maternity leave, I quit my job. I served 1 month of notice period and then I was out of there. When I was doing that, throughout these periods of month, like from this year 2 when I told him that I wanted to quit, till year 4 when I actually quit, I was saving up the money for it. It was not a plan that came out of the blue. There was a lot of work that involved even in quitting the job. So once I had enough cushion money to have runway so that I can handle at least a few months without any client, I quit it. And thankfully, even before quitting the job, even during my maternity leave, I started getting clients. So I had a little bit of a flow as well. So there was some certainty that I'm not going in here without any clients. I had some clients during that leave itself. I tested the waters. I know what I'm doing. What is the process of me working with clients, everything I had figured out in that maternity leave time. And I was ready. I said, I'm going to quit. And I quit.
Did you add your financial age at that time when you're quitting your job?
I had my financial aid ready. Yes. The amount that I wanted to have it ready, I had ready. But honestly, I will never badmouth my job because that job really gave me everything. I got married during that job. I got my kid during that job. When exiting, I had a lump sum that was paid for me. I'm very thankful with the culture of the work itself, okay? Because some of my colleagues knew that I'm intending to start a business and they were very encouraging of it. They're like, you go, Jayashree, I'll like your post, I'll share your post. They were very encouraging about it. And I had a good set of people as my team. They were very sweet. I'm very thankful for that. Ultimately, when I did start, everyone was like super encouraging. And everyone who supported me, like even through a like, comment, share, whatever that is, that was all my colleagues. I'm very blessed to have that sort of people around me. So yeah, once I shifted, then I started taking gigs one by one. It was not very targeted. I did not start working with women entrepreneurs, but somehow I was working with the kind of portfolio that I had. I had food related portfolio. So I was getting a lot of food-based businesses as my clients. And then eventually I got a Pilates studio as my client. And now I'm looking to work with a skincare brand as my client. We're just working on it.
Actually. So yeah, you just hit that when you're just going to leave your job, you knew that what kind of plan you have for your business, right? So I'm a little bit curious to know, did you add only one plan or did you add any backup plans? Yeah, as an entrepreneur, I have plenty of ideas to execute right now. So if you just see in ODPP community, right? So we are trying to bring up a lot of other initiatives. So the others kind of monetization I am trying to make, and I have plans for creating a design studio, and also right now I'm just working on a product called Design Wallet. So I don't want to stick into one particular business idea, right? So when you started, so did you had other plans to work on, or were you confident that this design studio business plan will be your work cup of tea?
I knew that I wanted to do this because I was learning the most about running a design studio only. I was watching a lot of Chris Do's videos on the future, and I knew that branding is something that I'm good at, and I wanted to go in that journey itself because he was clearly teaching very much in detail as to how to run your own agency. So I knew that this was my plan A. Plan B was that I'll probably create a product and sell it. I had to find a customer that I'm connecting with and create products for them. Products would be digital products like artworks or such. I thought I would go to that, but it never was a very detailed plan. It was not an intense plan. I was like, if this didn't work out, probably to that. And even though I know that I will eventually be open to trying other stuff as well, but in my heart of the heart, I know that I will love working with people. I love talking to people. I love creating brands, and that's where my happiness is. So plan A it is. To answer your question in short, I went with plan A and I just wanted to go with plan A.
That's great. So I should also be focusing on any one of the business plans right now. So
Yeah.
So the whole idea of ODPP community is like you need to build a proper platform for all the designers where it can be anything. It can be a mentorship program, or it can be a freelancing gig like Fiverr, or we have plenty of other plans, right? So all the time I will be thinking about each and every plan, and I'll be noting everything down, and I'll just leave it aside. So probably I need to take any one of the plans like you said, and I should be working on that too. So that was a really great insight that I just got. So the very next question that I want to ask you is, what made you to choose you need to support women entrepreneurs? Like, since you are in the industry, are you thinking that I should be only focusing on women entrepreneurs, or is it like, do you want to niche it down even further to get more clients?
I had multiple motivations. So niching down was one reason, because I knew that I was able to work with women entrepreneurs really well. They connected well with me. In the few clients that I had worked with, the women entrepreneurs were very communicative with me about their requirement, and my services somehow reflected in their business really well. Not to say that I did not enjoy working with male entrepreneurs. Their businesses were in different sectors, and the women entrepreneurs that I had been working with were trying to create personal brands. Okay, so even now my niche is not any and every woman entrepreneur. I work with women entrepreneur in lifestyle or luxury business. Let's say they have like product businesses like skincare brand, cosmetic brand. If they have a business such as like they are running a coaching business, they have a yoga studio, so anything related to lifestyle or luxury, right? So those are the businesses that I cater to, because I believe in terms of industry, I take care of that really well. In terms of clientele, I work really well with women entrepreneurs. And the second and much more important reason is that once I had my kid, I was in the verge of losing my own identity. I was seen as a mother, and that's a good thing. I am very proud to be seen as a mother, but I was also unhappy that I'm not seen as anything else. And I started feeling like I'm losing a sense of who Jayashree is. What is she Jayashree if she's not a mother? What does she like to do? What does she not like to do? What kind of clothes she likes? Every sense of identity was being lost. And I understand that as a woman who is crazy passionate about her business, there must be other women out there who are not able to figure out how they can crack up this personal identity and flourish in their business, right? And they probably are wishing that if only I had someone to help me with this, if only I had somebody who I can trust with a small portion of my business, if I had a helping hand, if I had a pillar of support, wouldn't this be a little bit more easier? That's the pillar of support I want it to be. If nothing, what I want to do for a fellow woman entrepreneur is that I take up her business that she's so passionate about, I make it look premium, and I give it back to her so that she can charge a higher price, make profits, feel good about her business, make herself feel good, and build confidence and actually scale that business. I'm hoping that through branding, I do that for her so that she connects more with her ideal clients, so that she makes more money. And I want these female entrepreneurs to succeed. Having said all that, to bring her a sense of identity that she's not just a woman who's limited to her own beliefs. She's more than that. I want to bring out that emotion in other women. And that's why I thought that this is not something somebody did for me, When I was postpartum and I was looking for videos which said, here's how I take care of my 10-month baby along with my business. And there was no videos like that. Now, in hindsight, I think about it. That's probably because they are busy actually running the business and taking care of the baby. They are not able to make content out of it. They're probably actually busy doing that thing. That is something I realized after I actually started working on my business. I was like, hey, I'm able to work on my business. I'm able to take care of my baby, but I'm not able to make content about it. That was the reason I felt like, hey, I don't have any inspiration or example at all. Maybe I should start talking about it so that there's at least one woman out there who will feel like, hey, she's able to do it. Maybe I can do it.
I just want to discuss about what are the challenges that you actually faced while starting this design studio. Say about what are the challenges you are facing while having the transition from 9 to 5 job to the entrepreneurship journey. And you can also say about the challenges you faced while going through the entrepreneurship journey. And how did you actually overcome from those challenges?
The challenge when I was in a 9 to 5 job was that I was not able to dedicate enough time for my business. I would spend 1 hour per day on weekdays to actually design or create something for my business. And I was doing a lot of back end work, which would be like creating an Instagram profile and posting some of my works there, having a Behance profile and creating a proper documentation of my portfolio work there. I would create my website and I would feel like that's not enough because I was in a rush. I was an impatient person who wanted to shift to my business as soon as possible. But in hindsight, I'm glad that I was doing small steps before even quitting the business so that when I did start my business full time and I had finally quit my job, I had everything ready, like a proper business site, my proper branding. So I'm glad that I started those portions of the work before quitting. But the feeling that I'm not able to dedicate enough time is a regret. After working for 2 years or so now in my own business, there are a bunch of challenges. One is that it's a very lonely journey, that I cannot share my successes or my failures with someone. Failures you don't want to share at all, but I wish sometimes there was ways to share frustration with someone. Like, I had a good team, right? So if I had a bad day, I would about it to my my colleague, but I did not have anyone anymore on a bad day of work. So that would be a little frustrating. Secondly, the factor that I did not hire anyone at all during my 9 to 5 is a regret that I have. When I say that I did not hire anyone, I mean that now that I have worked in my business, I have started hiring people to do certain portions of my work. I wish I had started hiring before leaving the job itself so that I would have been able to pay them as well consistently a little bit, and I would have asked them to make the content for me. If not being able to make content was my biggest drawback, I could have paid someone to take care of my social media or like create videos for me. I would have just had to sit and shoot the video and I would give it to them like a video editor or something. If I had done that earlier, I would have also marketed my business enough to have a lineup of clients for future, and then I would have quit my job. When I did quit my job, I did not have a lineup. I took any client that came by. It was not me choosing what kind of client I want to work with. It was me taking any kind of gig I had. And sometimes when the season dries up of business, right, you feel like, yeah, this is not a season of business or something like that. At that point, it feels like I wish I had a lineup of those potential clients that I could work with. Now I feel that, hey, I need to market myself more. I need to consistently market. So let me hire a social media manager. I will have them do the work. So that's another regret I have that I did not do during 9 to 5 job. What I would have done is take out 5% of my income. I would have given that as a salary to the person I'm hiring. I would teach her everything as to like what she's supposed to do, how to handle my Instagram, how to handle posting, how to create designs for the post. I would have taught them everything. I would have them posting. I would just give them the content. Then once the social media picks up and just clients start coming in, I should have quit my job. That is one idea I was getting very recently.
So, what kind of hires would have been done at that time? Like, will it be a senior person you want to hire, or is it like any college freshers that you want to hire and give them a stipend amount?
That
So-
would have been it. I would have hired a college going student. I would have hired them just so they can gain experience. I would have given them a stipend amount, and the stipend amount would be the 5% out of my income so that
Got
I can continuously give them. And this person will not be only getting work from me, they'll probably be freelancing with a bunch of other clients. My payment is not the only income they are making, but I will be teaching them how to work with me so that I know that the exact result that I want to create, they are also creating. So I will train them that way. So they are getting experience, they are getting a good word of recommendation, they are getting stipend. A lot of people are ready to work without getting paid at all as well, which is not something I really advise. But you should get paid a little bit of amount. But if you are a newbie, probably a small amount is something you should be okay with. But along with that, if your learning experience is good, then it is worth moving forward.
That's great. That's what I also used to say in my community members too. So most of them will be the freshers and junior designers, right? So I used to tell them that hey, you should get opportunities in some startup companies as a intern, and they would be saying that they are hiring them for some 5K or 10K, something like that. And I used to tell them that see, you are starting out right now, so maybe probably you can be a freelancer with them and get that money, so you don't need to work for a full-time job, right? So I think it's a really good plan when we are starting out a business, like hiring assigning interns of college freshers and giving them a stipend amount to work for ourselves, right? So that's a really good insight. So I wanted to ask about what kind of memorable experience you had with your clients that you can't actually forget, right? So you can just share any of your experience with your client where you'd cherish about it.
Okay, so there was one client which I will never forget. Like, she worked with me for the branding of her kitchen and cocktails restaurant. So they were scaling from a food truck business to a restaurant scale. So they were upgrading from their business. I was doing their branding for the upgrade of the business because they were not happy with their food truck business. They were thinking that it was not looking premium enough to be used in their restaurant scale. It had to look premium. And what I did was I was presenting my first presentation to them on how the logo would look. This is the logo I have designed for you and how the logo would look. And as we kept moving forward, the first image that she saw was the logo on a mock-up of a signage, and she started crying. She was in tears and she got so emotional and she could not face the screen. I was like, oh my god, did I do something? Was something wrong? And she said, I'm almost able to see my business come to life. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. That day, I felt like I did something that I did not even know I had the capacity to do. In our head, it's just a simple mock-up. In their head, it's them able to see how their business would come alive.
Exactly.
And
That's good.
that was the most meaningful, that was the most memorable experience I've had when I made my client cry. And I want to make a lot of my clients cry like that.
So was it this brand that you actually worked on, which is called?
This brand is called Santanos.
Okay.
It's already on my portfolio and in my website as well. It's called Santanos, yes.
So are they actually open with the you coming up with branding strategies, or what kind of services did they actually ask for? And are you actually involved in creating only logos and marketing collaterals, or are you working on the creative direction of the overall brand itself, like the brand positioning and what kind of messaging that that needs to be said and all, right? For each and every clients that you are actually working on, are you actually working on the creative direction part, or is creative direction part is a process in your design process?
It depends on the client that I'm working on. With this client, I did not do the brand strategy in detail. It was depending on the kind of requirement that they had. They were looking for a visual identity, but the problem was that we were not moving forward with the strategic portion of like how we would present in the terms of marketing and such, is because their restaurant was still in the process of being built. And once again, you can do brand strategy before you start designing anything for your marketing. But this client had a very clear idea on what their brand is about, where they're headed, who their ideal customer is. They already knew all of that. So I did not have to provide that service for them. When they came to me with the deck, they had all these details ready with them, but they did not have the design expertise in terms of how they can implement their vision into execution. So that's why I came into the picture and I did visual identity for them. I created the logo, I created some of their packaging collateral, I created their color palette and typography and such that they could be utilizing. So as for now, those are the portions I covered for them.
So they actually gave you a proper augmentation, and how was the augmentation actually looked like, and what was the format they actually gave in the augmentation?
That was a simple PPT. The thing is that my client herself was an interior designer and she was the one designing her upcoming cafe. So she wanted to shift her business. Like, she was working as an interior designer for other firms earlier, and now she's working on her own business, which is the restaurant she's intending to open. She gave me like a PPT about who her competition is, who her customers are, what is it that they do, what kind of sustainability activities they do, what their values are. Everything she had already provided me in a PPT. I don't think this is something I would have received if it was a regular client who is not aware of the design process. I think because she's an interior designer and she knows that there is certain amount of pretext that we will need, like some sort of context we will need before we enter into design. She had it ready, and she had that in sort of like a, this is the brief that we have and we can move forward with this brief, like that. If I had a different client who has no clue, I'd probably start with a discovery session with them, get all this information, and then move forward to the design part.
So continuing this same question, what kind of insights should I get from the client? Like, if I'm pitching one of the client, right? Like, if he has a requirement, so he doesn't know what is the format of how to give a proper brief, right? How to give a proper requirement. So as a designer or as an entrepreneur, what will be my framework to extract the best out from the client regarding the brief?
I can't give you like a template on this because it depends on what kind of questions come up in the meeting. I can only give you a tip that be very intentionally listening to their conversation. You know, if they're saying something about their business, give complete attention to it. Ask questions. Questions about what they're saying will lead you to more questions. So you have to know what their vision is only by asking them more questions. You say that you want a tropical design. So does tropical mean that you want a lot of greens and a lot of other colors, like fresh colors? And they will say, no, I just want greens. I don't want any other colors other than green. Okay, so that is giving you clarity. You say that you want it to be a vintage design. Does that mean that you want the colors to look like antique gold or rose gold or browns and such? And they will say, no, what I mean is I want you to use a typography which is old. Like, not typography, they won't be able to say it exactly like something as the term of typography because they're probably not aware of it. What they would say, like, no, I just want the logo to have words that look like it's written in an old time, right? That's something that I'm envisioning. So you have to dig deeper into asking the questions. Of course, we will not be instruction takers in terms of them giving us an idea and we are easily executing it. But in order to do a good job at execution, you have to be able to ask them a bunch of questions. I recently had a brief that I received which said that my target demographic is 17 years old to 59. I would say that's not a target demographic, that's entirety of the working community. When you go targeted, you don't go beyond like 1 or 2 years. You said 23-year-old Sam is my ideal client who shops every once in a week, eats out in a cafe every once in a week, and she likes to travel a lot. Like that, you have to be very specific about who your target is. So similarly, you as a designer has to bring out what kind of requirement that person has. So ask a lot of questions.
That's a really good insight. Like understanding the business ICP is the key point for us to get started on any kind of design. So all you need to know is like you need to know the user first. What kind of user, right? So in marketing, it is called ICP, which is called Ideal Customer Profile, and in product designing, it is called user persona, right? So understanding the ICP and understanding their pain points and converting those pain points into capabilities is a very great skill to work on. If you can convert the pain point into a capability, right? So you can build any kind of solutions for those kind of capabilities. So I think it's a really good point that you actually said. Understanding the target audience is one thing that we need to address a lot. So that's one thing that entrepreneurs or designers or developers, anyone, I think that there is one movie called Avkar, right? In Avkar, AJ used to say one dialogue that everyone are actually users. If you are reading a newspaper, they are called readers. If they are watching a TV, they are called viewers. Everyone are working for the users only. So understanding users and working on the business is the really key point to work on. So I just want another one big question to ask. So what kind of advice that you will give to a budding entrepreneur who is actually starting out right now? As a founder, you have seen so much of struggles, right? So what kind of advice you will give them?
Can I be honest? If it's a budding entrepreneur, I don't know what stage of life they are in terms of their life outside of career. And I'm very, very jealous of younger generation who has a lot of time in their hand, who are just out of college and such. I'm very jealous of them because there's so much potential in terms of what they can do. There is immense amount of time and basically no responsibility at all. You don't have to take care of another human. You don't have to cook for yourself. You don't have to clean up for yourself. And there's so much time. And if you have that kind of time, I am so jealous that you're not utilizing it to your best possibilities. And in that time, I wish these people would learn a lot. I'm not trying to generalize in terms of everybody's life is beautiful when they are younger. Probably not. But if you have that time, I wish you'd read a lot more books, learn a lot, watch a lot of videos about your dream business that you're trying to start. And we see this in execution, right? Some of these designers did come out. Shantanu Kumar, Anik Jain, these guys are young people and I'm so jealous of them that they are able to do the things that I want to do, but they have already done it and moved on, right? And they have scaled their business. And it's not coming from a place of hatred or anything, but it's coming from a place of like, man, they're doing so well. It's a feeling like I wish I could do that, but I also have other aspects of my life where I'm required. I should not be comparing my life with them, but if there are others who like, I don't know what to do, and like start somewhere, start reading. If you don't know what to do, start somewhere, read a book, watch a video about how to start a design agency. Like Google is out here, ChatGPT is ready to give you a whole structure of it. Take action is my first advice. Take action, make mistakes, fall on your face. Just be shameless about it. Just be ready to fail a bunch of times before you actually figure out what is right and move forward. But failure is so good. Karthik, I can't tell you enough. Failure is so good because it will tell you exactly what not to do the next time.
That's 100% true. Like, I just want to share some experience from my side. And I was in my college time, I was a forward actually. So I usually think about my future, and I get lot of anxiousness. Because of anxiousness, I get lot of stammering. Because of stammering, I get lot of anxiousness. It's a vicious loop. So I was in that zone. And apparently my usual conversations with my friends is not like acha has come, we'll just go and have some party. It's not like that. My conversations are like, I was just thinking about a business, bro, and I just want to start that business. Each and every day when I just talk about this to my friend, he used to tell me one thing, that first you do one business, then you start to rant everything. Because before starting itself, if you start to rant, you won't know what kind of failures or what kind of pitfalls will be there in the entrepreneurship journey. So first of all, take action and go for it. That's one thing I learned in a very hard way. So when I started out ODPP Community, right? So it all started out and I was working in advertising agency, and it was a very startup agency. Okay, so in that agency, they had a small thing that everybody in the agency should create an aim page to promote the client's brand. So everyone started to create meme page in a way that our meme page or the Engel Pasanga meme page, something like that. And I was like, everyone are doing the same thing, and why are you going back in that? So at that time, I was just thinking, okay, hello, no one in the South India started a meme page called Design meme page. So I just thought at that time only one meme page which was actually trending, which is called Ungambakam meme page. And in Ungambakam meme page, every design memes will be there. So that actually inspired me a lot, and I started a meme page. And eventually I consistently posted memes for 4 years. Actually, the whole idea of actually telling these things was like, if I haven't started that, and I was just thinking whether, okay, let's start a meme page, okay, I will just do it for 6 months and I leave it. Since I had a commitment and I was consistently posting for 4 years, at the 4th year, one particular meme got viral. I was getting more than only 50 to 60 likes at that time, and that one particular meme reached around 1000 likes, and I was super impressed on that. So the effort which you are putting for each and every year, right? Like 4 years I was just putting the same effort. I got a small achievement that I had only 200 followers at that time, and because of that one particular meme, I got around 2000 followers at that time. It's like NX, right? So efforts, consistency are the things that we need to embrace that a lot. Like if you start to feel that, why should I keep doing this for each and every day, right? Like it's like a tree. You need to put this seed in the sand, and you need to water it daily. If you don't water it daily, it won't grow as a tree, right? So as a good insight that you actually said, the efforts and consistency are the important things in entrepreneurship journey also. Like if no one in this world believes in you and believes in your business plan, we should have that belief that it will actually come up to on level for sure.
Yeah.
If I haven't posted the memes at that time, right now I won't be having a proper founding team, or I won't be having a community right now where people are talking about so much of things in the community. And whenever I go to any design events, right, they usually say, bro, இங்க தானே வந்து அந்த ஓடிபிபி இம்பேஜ் அப்படின்னு அவங்க வந்து சொல்றப்போ, இட்ஸ் லைக் it's like over the period of time, it's like, acha, okay, everything is getting recognized now. In my life, that is one great thing that I have achieved.
Yeah, that's beautiful actually. Yeah, it was very relatable for me as well. And I think, yeah, there was a platform needed for all Tamil designers to just talk about their emotional baggage as a designer, but also laugh about it. So that's what your community did for them. So I think that's beautiful.
Acha, USP that we have in each and every Asian event. I think one of the in the Asian event has said that we usually share your names within our circle, and we usually rant about our managers. So that's the reason I just wanted to start a community where I don't want this community to be a normal community like people usually come and gain knowledge, talk with these seniors. Each and every thing in this whole initiatives, right? I need to have a small humorous ends into it. Like it can be anything. It can be anything. Like if you just say something to someone in a very humorous way, right? Yeah. If you just say it in a very normal way, they'll be like, why should I actually listen to you, right? So that's one USP that the ODPP name page actually has. So we wanted to build a very huge platform for designers to access it. So that's the overall idea of ODPP.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm very glad that I came across your page and we connected about it.
Actually, I reached out to you in my own page. Apparently, you shared me something in my thing, and it was actually my post. Who was sharing the same post which I just posted in ODPP meme page. At that time, I just told you that that's my page. So
I remember. Yeah.
That way we just had a conversation icebreaker there.
My audience is not Tamil, okay?
Okay.
But some of those memes, I'm like, you know what? I want to share it. If there is 3 people also who's Tamil in my community, I just want them to see this. I want them to laugh. I don't care. This is so good. I want to share with it. I think that's what laughter does, right? To people, like you want to share it with others.
That's true. Like everything, if you laugh, right, every bad energy will actually go out from you. Only positive energy will be there.
Yeah.
So I believe on that. So I could see many designers don't have a proper mental health, or they don't have a proper sleep or something like that. So I don't want to be another on the Instagram page talking about high tips on the social color psychology kind of thing. So I just want to be a separate guy, which I want to entertain other designers into it. So that's the whole idea of ODPP main page. So I just want you to talk about the final question I want to ask. So what is the vision you have for 8 design studios, and what is your lifetime aspirations?
Lifetime is so big, Karthik. We can't have one dream, no. So as for now, to help as many women entrepreneurs touch their lives, help them prosper. And if they tell me, Jayashree, because of this branding, my brand has been considered to be showcased in front of one of the most top-notch fashion walks or something like that. If one of my clients said that, or like it's going to be showcased in Met Gala, it's going to be showcased in some of these prestigious platforms, anything like that, only because the branding was great, and that gave me the confidence to actually show up there and showcase my work. I'm taking it to Shark Tank, something like that. That would be really cool.
It is in YouTube, right? That was a really good one. You just broke down each.
So I will get back to you on that one because I have to tell you a story about it. I'll keep it brief. Currently, my dream is to create something good for a lot of female entrepreneurs and gain legitimacy. Eventually, I do want to write a book about what not to do as a starting entrepreneur, or what not to do in the first steps of your design. Because I made a bunch of mistakes, I wanted to write it as a book. Then I want to teach a lot. I want to teach other designers as well how they can flourish, but I cannot do that yet because I'm myself in the starting of my business. If there is any way I could do this through these podcasts that I'm doing right now, and if the message is helpful to any other designer, I'm very thankful, I'm very grateful that my message was. But I hope they take action on it and just not continue to consuming content. They take action on it, and if it gave them some result, I would be very grateful. So as of now, I just have these dreams. That's about it. I don't think I have a very, very long vision on what I will be doing at 80. That's a scary thought. But I think even at 80, I will be writing books, teaching a lot, and sharing what knowledge I have. Ultimately, I think we are put in earth to do something meaningful and then pass it on to the next generation so that they also learn what changes we have done and they can apply those learnings and make their own lives better. So if I can make those lives better, then I have completed my lifetime's purpose properly. That's about it. Going back to the Shark Tank part, I'm so frustrated with Shark Tank. I do not want to do it again. They constantly block my video for copyright issues. I hate it. I have to appeal to them saying that, hey, please, I'm not trying to copyright this. I'm not trying to take it. I'm just doing a breakdown. And they later during the dispute, they allow me to use the video. But each and every time it's such a hassle, I stopped creating Shark Tank videos. But it's such a good thing because I was able to do a lot of design breakdowns, and I'm thinking that in my future videos, I'm planning on, this is also a future plan, by the way. This is a short-term future plan. I am planning on making shorts instead of making long-form videos. I'll probably do shorts where I take out one small clip and then I dissect it and I post it as a short-form content instead of making a full long-form. That will get copyright hit very badly. I don't know what to do that.
It's like a really good series actually. I was actually watching two of the videos and I was like, Acha, it's a really good way to talk about your learning skills and also designing skills, right? That's actually a great thing. Thanks a lot for sharing all your insights, and it was really nice talking with you, and I got a lot of insights from you. And
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
I will be out of the insights for the designers also. I think this podcast will give them a lot of insights. So if you have any products that you want to give to your design community, you could let that know also, so that people will know about your product and I can purchase it from your website too.
Okay, so I don't have a specific product per se, but it's something that I have created for my audience, my ideal customers. It's for all entrepreneurs who don't know whether they need branding or not. So I created a self-assessing scorecard. So what they have to do is they can go to my website. They can share the links in the show notes or the description or some kind. If they go to that link, it's a free product. They can just download it by sharing their email and details. And once they download it, they can go through the PDF, which has 20 questions. And in the 20 questions, they will have to give a score for each question. At the end of it, they will know that what range their current branding is at. And if they find out their current branding is at a low score, they will probably have to take actions to change those things. And what changes they need to make, the questions itself will give an answer for. If they are given low score, probably those are the areas they need to address. So it's a very good exercise that people can do when they are trying to figure out whether they need branding or not. And if they do, what part they want to solve through branding. Similarly, for website as well, if people don't know whether they need a website or not, I have a website design scorecard as well. If their current website is good for them, if it's working well for them or not, if they don't know that, they can check out this website scorecard as well, which is also completely free. They can just take both of these in their cart, download them and check through them. And if they need to reach out to me after that, because branding and website design is a service that I provide, if they reach out to me after that, based on the scorecard, we can custom create a solution for them. And that way they can move forward with whatever business upgrade that they want to do. That's a product that I wanted to talk about. And thank you so much for this platform, Karthik. This was lovely talking. And I got to share a lot of my insights and a lot of my history as well in this meeting. So it was a great conversation. Thank you so much.
And I could able to see myself in you. Like, hence we are also designers and we have that entrepreneur mindset also, right? So I think The whole vision of the ODPP community is to build a entrepreneurship mindset to each and every designer in the community. So I think his particular podcast will give them a lot of insights into it. So thanks a lot for that. Thanks for sharing all your insights.